And hello from City Hall. I am Councilwoman Nikki Nice representing Ward 7, and today we're talking all about courts and our municipal courts programs and everything that they have to offer. And joining us today is Mrs. LaShawn Thompson. She's our court administrator, and she is responsible for a lot of the things that happen at the municipal court, including all of the staff that she has to help her do her duties as well. But thank you so much for being with me on this day.
Thank you, Woman Council Nice.
I want to talk about the penalty reduction program, and myself and there are a couple of other council members, Greenwell, Councilwoman Hammond, and also Councilman Stonecipher, who is the chair of our Judiciary Committee. We were able to come up and implement this penalty reduction program. So will you talk more about that?
Yes, the penalty reduction program was designed to address outstanding warrants. So there was a discussion, and the committee agreed that you guys would look at any citation issued and warrant before July the 1st of 2017. When we initially discussed this penalty reduction program, we had about 29,000 warrants out there. And so this was a goal to attempt to address those outstanding warrants, get those warrants off of our books, and then help people come in and be able to take care of those also as well. So when we initially kicked off the program, I believe it was in September. And at that time, like I said, we had 29,000 warrants. And if you had neglected to pay a speeding citation, 1 to 10, that speeding citation probably was at somewhere in the neighborhood of about $600. The penalty reduction program allowed that citation to be reduced to $155, and then also the failure to appear was also dismissed that went along with the ticket. You have to be able to pay the $155 in full. You're not allowed to make payments. However, if you don't have the ability to pay or participate in or take advantage of the penalty reduction program, you can, we have our Rule 8 hearings, which is our emergency hearings to assist you.
All right, now I want you to go back through that. So basically, if you had a ticket before July the 1st of 2017,
right,
you are eligible. So those who may have a ticket July 2nd of 2017, you do not qualify for this penalty reduction program.
That is correct. And the ticket has to be issued before July the 1st of 2017 and in a warrant status.
In a warrant status. So if some of those who may be watching or hearing this for the first time are unsure, would you know if it's in a warrant status or not?
You can go to our online portal and it will tell you if your ticket is in a warrant status, or you can give us a call at 297-3898 and one of my staff will be able to tell you if the ticket is eligible for the program.
Okay, and as we're looking at Class A traffic and criminal offenses only, and I know you talked about one case, what are some other Class A offenses?
It could be failure to have insurance, failure to signal. It could be trespassing, disorderly conduct. So not your jury division cases, not your more serious cases, cases that don't carry time in the Oklahoma County Jail.
Okay. And as we're looking at even this, over 29,000 warrants, and this was implemented, we decided to go with this, was it July 1st of 2019?
I believe it was July the 1st of 2019. I said September. You are correct, Councilwoman.
And we decided to do it for 9 months.
9 months.
So just give us some background. Where did this idea, or had this been implemented in another city across the states?
So this idea was launched in the state of California. And Councilman Stonecipher had read about this program. Now, the state of California ran their amnesty program for 2 years.
Okay.
And so initially, our committee, the Judiciary Committee, you guys thought that you would try a 9-month program just to see how this program took off. But again, California was the entire state of California. We're just looking at Oklahoma City.
So right now it's happening, and we have until March 30th of 2020?
March 30th of 2020, that is correct.
March 30th of 2020. Now, a lot of people think if we have anything to do or go to court, you are going to jail or you're going to be arrested. So with this and anything that happens with our municipal courts, we can say, come talk to us and you won't be arrested.
That is correct, Councilwoman. with this program, you can come in and address any of these tickets underneath the penalty reduction program. However, let's say you don't have the money to pay. Just as long as you come in voluntarily and attempt to address these matters, we will docket your case and you will not go to jail. Even if you miss your court date, if you come into court on your own voluntarily, you will not be jailed.
And I think that's a misconception for a lot of folks. They don't realize that, or we don't think that the courts will actually work with us.
That is correct.
So that's really good to know. So where are we now when it comes to the penalty reduction program since its implementation July 1st?
We have addressed about 540 citations. We have dismissed roughly about 220 failure to appear citations with a total value of about $84,000.
Wow, that's a lot of money going back to the city.
It is.
And I'm sure a lot of those folks maybe had their license revoked. So now a lot of them, this is an opportunity to have that reinstated. And I think that's also a branch that can be a part of this as well.
Correct. That is correct.
And how does that work?
Well, what it does is it gives you it allows the ticket to be in a status to where you can now go back to DPS and get your driver's license reinstated. Because if you have a warrant for failure to pay your traffic ticket or failure to pay any ticket or return back to court, your driver's license is suspended if you don't take any action.
All right. So the penalty reduction program is 9 months. So we need to make sure we tell everybody 9 months.
9 months.
And you have I want to talk about the court costs just by themselves,
Okay.
what we're looking at, if you don't mind.
Okay. So are you talking about it if it's in a status where it's in a warrant status, Councilwoman? Okay, so right now let's go back to speeding 1 to 10. If you didn't take any action on this ticket started out in the neighborhood of, like I said, about $172. When the ticket went into a default penalty rate, the ticket is in the neighborhood of now at about $450 with a warrant, and now your driver's license is suspended. Also, a failure to appear was issued more than likely on behalf because you didn't take any action or you didn't return back to court either. And so you are looking at a total of about $613 right now. With the penalty reduction program, it reduces everything down to about $155.
Again, I just want to emphasize just how important that particular program is for a lot of our community to realize and understand. Over $600 now down to $155. That's a drastic difference, and also now you can go back to being a citizen and complying with what's happening around you. So I appreciate you talking about that. I know we're also in the works of talking about some other programs through our courts, and homeless court is another.
That is another one. You guys have agreed to push forward that agenda, and we're excited about that. We're in the process of discussing and launching our first court session. So we're working with our providers along with the Homeless Alliance. So basically, homeless court is going to take the court to a more familiar setting. So the judge, the court clerk, and all of my staff are going to go over to the Homeless Alliance, and we're going to work with the clients in their own familiar setting. And the goal of the program is if they are involved in treatment or they're willing to get involved in treatment, whether it be mental health, it could be educational, whatever the situation or whatever the obstacle may be, if they're willing to get involved with services, then the court system is looking at making a recommendation to where they can either have the case dismissed or a lesser charge, but at the end they won't owe any fines and fees. And so that's the good thing about homeless court. It's a court about second chances, giving you a second chance. And so that way, because we know that if you have a conviction on your record or you have these fines and costs outstanding, you're not eligible for housing. So we're trying to address that issue. What are your obstacles? Why are you in this homeless situation? If it's your fines and fees, we want to be able to help you, and we're going to collaborate with the Homeless Alliance and the other providers out there.
And I understand we're also enlisting some volunteer attorneys from around the community as well. That is
correct. We're using volunteer attorneys that will work with the defendants in the process to assist them to make sure all of their rights are being attended to, and and explaining them about the different options that they have by participating in a program. Now, let's say if someone doesn't want to participate in the homeless court model, then they will just go back to the traditional court model, back into the court, back into our municipal court building. At that time, they can request for a public defender, and then they'll still be provided with legal representation. It's just with a different office.
Well, we're looking forward to homeless court, and I know our communities that are most vulnerable and affected by this court system and this model are also going to be excited about the ways they can be addressed.
We're excited about it, and we should have our first docket set and ready to go sometime in March of 2020.
Well, for those, can anyone come just to sit and see how this works?
You know, we are meeting tomorrow. I will have to meet with the legal department just to see. Typically, if you were in municipal court, you could. But now, since we are in the Homeless Alliance and we're actually behind their doors, we may have some other different type of HIPAA laws or confidentiality things that we have to adhere to. So I'll make sure I'll check with a legal about that.
Well, that's definitely understood. But
Okay.
Either way, we're excited for second chances for those.
Thank you.
And also another second chance is our young adult court.
Yes, our young adult program. That's another program that was recommended by the Judiciary Committee. We're looking at young adults between the ages of 18 and 25. When they come to court, if they're charged with a criminal offense or a jury division offense, and that could be anywhere from larceny, driving under the influence, failure to devote, any of those type of offenses. We're going to explain to them the different type of options that they have available. And if they're willing to participate in the young adult court model with the probation department, at the end of that probation period, their fines and costs can be suspended, and they won't have a conviction. They won't have a conviction on their record.
Wow. So how many young people do you think this will affect?
When we ran our numbers, we were looking at this was probably about 250 young adults a month. So
wow, that's
a month.
Lot.
That is a month. That is a lot.
Well, obviously the opportunity for a second chance for even those young people to get started in their journey of adulthood and not having that small stain on their record is definitely a great start for them.
Right.
Now, for those who may be watching, I understand you have a couple of folks who are dedicated at the courts to just helping them through the process. Can you talk about that real quick?
That is our community outreach program. And so we have two individuals assigned to that program, Tricinda Landale and Manny Hernandez. They are both located on the first floor of the municipal court building, and they are there to assist. If you have any questions, or you're coming into court and you're not familiar about the process, you want to know what type of options you have available, they're not there to provide you with any kind of legal advice, but they can give you legal information. They can tell you about the process of the cases and the different type of pleas that we have available. They also monitor the jail the jail inmate population count daily to ensure that our inmates are not staying in jail longer than what they need to, making sure people are getting out in a timely manner. So they're there to help. They're there to answer any kind of questions, and they also do community outreach in the community where they go talk to the local churches, the Latino community, again, informing people the options that they have available with Oklahoma City Municipal Court.
All right, so if you'll give us, those who are watching, the phone number and also the site for the online portal.
Okay, so the phone number is 405-297-3898. And if they just go to okc.gov, select Municipal Court, look at our homepage, all of our information is on there, and we have information about our community outreach program along with the penalty reduction program.
Well, we appreciate you for talking about all of these different programs, and also thank you for all you do, especially with the jail count. And I know under your leadership, it has been reduced drastically as far as those who are a part of Oklahoma City jail numbers. So thank you and all of your staff, and also our judges that also help in this process every day. So again, 297-3898, that's the number for you to call. And that's going to do it for us right here, City Hall, representing Ward 7. I'm Councilwoman Nikki Nice.